multiple property investing strategies to escape the 9 to 5 and unlock financial freedom. This is how property investing can transform your life. Let's get into it. Property can be a lucrative venture, and it can also provide you with long-term wealth. And there's various property investing strategies so that you can leave your 9 to 5 depending on your circumstances. And I'll discuss these strategies in this video. Some of the strategies that I will be discussing later, I've actually used and I've seen great results. And I'll also go over some general property investing tips that I've picked up along the way towards the end, so keep watching. So some of the strategies that I've come across are some of the ones that people always talk about. There's deal sourcing. You can also do rent to rent, serviced accommodation and HMOs. Now the great thing about these type of deals is that if you do, especially if you do the SAs or the HMO route, if you do that, utilize that through doing a rent to rent term, then you can actually do this with very, very little money. If you can source like a rent to rent contract or a lease option contract, you can actually do the SA, serviced accommodation, or you can do a HMO, house of multiple occupation, through those means, and you can do that through putting in very little money on your part. So if you actually combine rent to rent with serviced accommodation or house of multiple occupation, you can actually get yourself a rent to rent deal whereby you rent that from the estate agent or the vendor, and then you implement your strategy into that, and then, which is, as I said, can be either a HMO or serviced accommodation, and then the idea is to rent that out again almost, and then get the money back to cover the rent plus a bit of profit. There's so many videos on YouTube about serviced accommodation and HMOs. I'm probably butchering. So a HMO is where you literally have a property and you split that up and you rent it out on a room by room basis, and that way you can maximize your profits from it rather than sort of renting out on a single let. So you're actually maximizing the profit that you can get from this one property. So that'll be a pro for HMOs, is that you can actually maximize your profits. You're supercharging your profits, so to speak. So you're not just having a single let, you're actually splitting up the property and renting them out on a room by room basis, which means that you're actually getting more in rental income from one property. Also, a con is you've just got to bear in mind that the more people that are in the space, the more likely it is for problems or, any disagreements or conflict to arise. And you're also got to watch out for void times as well, when people coming in and out over time. So it's going to be more labour intensive for you. You've also got to be careful with HMOs, because you've got to make sure that the area that you're looking to do a HMO in, you've got to check the Article 4 planning requirements for that area. So here in Nottingham, if the Article 4 direction there's a map of that over Nottingham, and within that area you've actually got to make sure that you have a HMO licence. So obviously you'd have to apply to the council to get a change of use for the HMO use, so that you can use a property as a HMO. And they are quite strict on that at the minute with planning. It actually even states on their websites that it's very unlikely that you'll get a new licence or you'll get planning to do a HMO on a certain property. But you can always check with the local planning advisor and just see how they stand on that, unless you have grandfather rights. So if you've had a property that you can prove, or that has been let out to a multiple let, for example to students or as a HMO in the past, and it's been like that from before the Article 4 direction came into place, then you've got grandfather rights and you can still use that building as a HMO. Or you can get a property that would be just outside the HMO Article 4 area. There will be guidance on the local planning authority website, so if you check that for details, or you can give them a call just to get a bit of guidance directly from them. And the next strategy is serviced accommodation. So again, if you can combine that with rent to rent, if you can get a rent to rent deal and then let the property out on a serviced accommodation basis, that can also maximise your profits as well. So with serviced accommodation, it'd be similar to a HMO, however, you'll be letting it out on a nightly basis. So you'd let it out on Airbnb, for example, on a nightly basis. Another strategy is to joint venture. So this will be where you team up with somebody else. Maybe they've got a set of skills and you're an investor and you've got a load of cash to spend, or maybe it's the other way around, vice versa. You joint venture with an investor who's got quite a lot of cash capital, and maybe you've got a lot of skills that you can put to use, like for example project management skills, or maybe you're good with trade, or maybe you are a trade. Then you can team up, and then you can also make your money or their money go further and actually get further along in your property journey by teaming up and joint venturing with someone. And another strategy would be the BRRR method: buy, refurbish, refinance and rent. And that is a strategy that I love. That's the one that I've been doing at the minute, and it has really been working for me. So once you've done all the others and you've built up a little bit of a cash pot, you can go into that, or maybe you've got a cash pot already set aside. If you go into the buy, refurbish, refinance and rent method, and it's a really good way to keep going on your property journey, and you can link that into all of your property goals that you've set yourself. So I love this method because unlike all of the other methods, or rent to rent and things like that, rent to rent, unfortunately, what I dislike about rent to rent is that you're actually building a business around somebody else's asset, and that could be taken away from you at any time, regardless. I still personally feel, regardless of whether you've got a contract in place or not, if a landlord or someone wants their property back, they're probably going to find a way to get it back, and then once that's gone, your income's probably gone with it. So this is why I love the buy, refurbish, refinance and rent method, because that involves you going out and you actually purchasing that asset, and that's going to be either in your name or your company's name, and once you've got it, you have it. So it's better I'd prefer to build a business around an asset that I own or own on paper rather than somebody else's asset. So yeah, you obviously with this you will need to have built up a bit of a cash pot to act as your deposit and to pay all of your fees, and also to pay to refurbish the project as well after. And I've actually done quite a few of these deals. So I've done them by either getting a bridge loan and then going on to a buy-to-let mortgage after, refinancing and then pulling out the money, or I've done a bridge to let, which I love, and I've got quite a few videos on bridging loans, bridge to let, bridging funders. I've created a whole playlist, so I'll link that in the description box below as well. You can watch that. So what I love about this method is that it allows you to actually add value. Once you've added value and you've solved an actual problem, for example, you brought a property on a bridge that is not habitable and can't go straight onto a buy-to-let mortgage, so you've used a bridge to purchase that property, and for some reason maybe there's no kitchen, there's no bathroom, or maybe it needs a total modernisation, or if there's other issues in the property that you potentially feel that you can solve and you can fix, that's your way of adding value. And once you add value, that's going to convert into profit. Once you then go on to refinance that property as well and pull out the money, and then that's how you can then go again. So you can see how that can quickly build wealth for you, and that's wealth based around an asset that you own. And a little tip for this, just so that you know that you are focused and you are purchasing a property that's actually going to help you succeed and go further on in your property journey, is if you sit down and almost say to yourself and put down on paper almost like a property avatar or a property criteria of what you want to buy. Therefore, as I said, then you're going to be more focused when you're looking for properties or you're sourcing properties, more focused on what you're going to buy. You know how much you're willing to pay for the property as well, so that you can negotiate well and you can actually come out with a property that actually meets your needs, and it's going to keep you going with your property journey long term. And I do have other videos on that as well, on your perfect property criteria, which can help you be more focused when you're actually looking and going to purchase properties. And that leads me nicely on to property investing tips. Number one, just make sure you educate yourself, that you are reading books, you are looking into forums, you're joining Facebook groups, you're joining LinkedIn groups, you are looking at the UK property market trends, interest rates, maybe you subscribe to a load of things on YouTube where they're discussing all these things, just so that you can stay in the know with market trends and you can stay one step ahead. I'm currently reading Atomic Habits, and I've also read Know Your Why by Simon Sinek as well. That's great, so that you can actually be more focused and you know exactly what you're doing. You've got goals that you've set yourself and you know why you're doing this in the first place, so that you're motivated to keep going and actually go through with the goals that you've set yourself. And part of knowing your why, you need to know what your current situation is. How do you stand financially? What do you need to improve on your financial matters? Do you need to improve your credit score, for example? If you do, what do you need to do to improve your credit score so that you can actually go out there and get the best rates possible for you if you're going to go for that BRR method? Again, I've got videos that have where I've shared tips and tricks that I've used to help me improve my credit file, so that then I've got good enough credit file so that I can go out there and get really good mortgage rates and deals. Another tip, consider outsourcing where you possibly can. If you can outsource to a property, like a maintenance manager or something, speak to a local estate agent, especially if you're remote investing, that is going to be key for you. I tend to stick to being around Nottingham, but I am looking into a maintenance company or contract with an estate agent, just so I can get that help to maintain the properties that I've got. It just helps you. If you're outsourcing, it will save you time and money. That time and effort, you can put that into strategically overviewing your business and steering your business in the right direction, your property business, if you're saving time. So anywhere where you can outsource, have a look, run the numbers, see if it's going to be beneficial to you. If it is going to be beneficial and you can outsource it, and keep track of your cash flow. That will be my next tip. So whether you're doing a renovation project, whether you're trying to keep track of your rental incomes, maybe you're trying to keep track of everything as to when things need to be maintained, gas safety certificates, things like that, when they need to be renewed. Just make sure that you are keeping track of everything on some sort of spreadsheet. I do have a link in the description box below, and it's to a project plan and also a financial plan, so that can help out with that. Like I was saying before, the financial plan, if you need to improve your finances, that can help you to map out your current financial situation and what you need to do to improve. And the project plan will also help you to actually run your project, so it helps you to input how much you've paid to trades, for example. It will help you to keep track of finances that way, and it will also help you to literally see, it's got a scope of work sheet or a specification sheet in there, just so that you can detail everything that you need to do on a renovation and hopefully put a cost towards it, so you've got an estimated cost. And it'll also help you to think about putting together a risk register of items that you need to look at when you're first sort of analysing a deal as well. So if you first come across a property and you think, right, I might need to put a new roof on that, you can pop that in the risk register with an amount next to it, and that will add up to an amount there that you can have separate to your contingency and separate to your actual budget amount, just in case the worst were to happen and you were to do a new roof. You know, part of that budget is set aside for that item. So that's in the description box below, guys, so you can download that, and it's a free Excel sheet as well, so that's there for you to keep. Also, make sure you're doing thorough inspections of properties, thorough viewings as well. I've also got a video on things to look out for when you're viewing a property that can give you some tips and tricks to what look for when you're actually initially looking at a property. Another thing, and I've fallen off from this myself and I need to pick that up, that is a goal that I've set myself for this year, is going to networking events. It is so beneficial to go to networking events on a regular basis, where you're meeting like-minded people that will actually motivate you and keep you going on that project, even though you've just met them. Just by going to these things, it's like you're meeting kindred spirits or something, other people that are actually interested in the same things that you are. And again, you could probably get joint venture deals from networking and meeting people and speaking to people and being confident and just actually talking to people about the stuff that you're doing, the stuff that they're doing, seeing how you can help each other out, and you're actually learning stuff as well from these networking events. Like, I've been to quite a few in 2022 and 2023. I've been to a few Steve Hamilton's free events, and they've been so good, because again, you get to just meet and mingle with people that are on the same vibe as you, and you can help each other out, you can pass information back and forth, and it's just a great place to be. So yeah, going to networking events, that's something that I really want to be doing a lot more this year, because I've not been able to for a while now, because I've been so busy doing some of these renovations. But I do need to get out there and see people. And always as well, seek professional advice on everything. And when I say professional, it don't just mean people with qualifications. It could be someone, or an expert, or somebody that's done something for a certain amount of time and they've got a lot of practical tips and tricks and expertise or experiences that they can pass on to you. So yeah, just build that team of people around you, speak to people, talk to people. People like myself, we love speaking to people about this subject, so just reach out and talk to as many people as you can if you are unsure. But just one key thing as well, just make sure all of your socials are up to date and you've got them there, because that is it's almost like your, well, it's your interactive business card. And so if you do go to these events, you can just scan your QR codes and you've got the other person's details in your phone. And I will be doing more videos on how to sort of automate your social media as well, especially if you're like me and you're the only person that's in your business at this moment in time. Your time is precious, so if you can automate anything, and as I said earlier in the video, if you can outsource anything, this is one thing that you can outsource, and the videos coming soon on that, guys. So what are your feelings on that, guys? Just pop them in the comments below. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and watch this video next if you want a few more tips on how to avoid a down valuation. Thanks, bye.